Yeah, well, it's been the first two songs of the new album are called 45 and Handwritten. They're all record-based. There's a line in Handwritten, what's your favorite song? That's mine. Maybe you can tell what was your favorite song when you grew up?
When I grew up, I think it's changed, you know, through the years. You know, you always have these phases with bands and different records that come along that end up being your favorite thing at the time. There are some songs that seem to never go away, you know, those like timeless ones. Now that I'm 31, like, you know, I've noticed I like playing the iTunes Party Shuffle a lot when I'm in my car, you know, because I have attention problems and it's hard to get through a record sometimes. So I skip through a lot of songs I'm not interested in. And I always notice that I'll never skip through Led Zeppelin. That's like a band that just has like lasted the test of time where any song could come on. And then there's a couple songs like Otis Redding, Try a Little Tenderness. It's one of those songs I can never turn off. Like What's Going On, Brother by Marvin Gaye. Like songs like that, it's almost like illegal. I can't turn it off, you know? Like, but I could probably sit here naming like dozens and dozens of songs that I just love to listen to, you know?
But what makes them for you, what makes a song lasting? Can you?
Well, I think one of the important things, especially with modern bands, is like not to be so contemporary that you're stuck in the time that you're writing songs in, you know? Some people are so caught up in the trends and caught up in the motions of music that they write something so appropriate for a time that it won't last outside of that time, you know? And I think in order to write timeless music, you have to write things that you know are good and you know have already lasted the test of time. You know, as a drummer, I don't get up there and do things that nobody's ever heard before. Because the way I look at it is, you know, rock and roll's getting pretty old now. It's on its way to being 60 to 70 years old. And there's certain things, especially in rhythm and in drums, that just keep reappearing in classic music, like every decade, you know, certain beats and certain rhythms.
Do you have an example?
Sure, like, I mean, say like a Motown, like 4 on the floor beat, you know, something like that. Like, you know, I'm not gonna hand drum it because I don't feel like I'm in Spinal Tap, but like, you know, like a Motown 4 on the floor beat or the straight ahead like AC/DC rock beat or like something like that, you know? Those are things that existed before they did it, and maybe not with Motown, and they will exist long after they do it just because they're good. They're not hard, but they're good, you know? And those are the things I think you have to implement into music to make sure that it's, you know, something that's just great overall, you know?
How do you, with the Gaslight Anthem, do you talk about this?
No, not really, actually. It's, you know, that's kind of the cool thing about the band. We've never really had a very vocal process in writing music, you know? Like, we'll have ideas, Brian will have an idea for, you know, it either comes in a riff or an entire, like, acoustic song he has laid out, and then everybody else puts their own parts to it without talking about it too much, you know? And I think every individual in the band has this kind of like, this pool of taste that they come from that appears in the music through the way they play. And yeah, and we've always sort of let everybody to their own devices a little bit in the band, you know, where we just don't, I would never tell Brian or Alex what to play, you know, like those guys do what they do and they do it better than me, and then they don't really tell me what to do too much, you know.